The question I get asked all the time is, which is better? Should we be making statics, images, or should we be making video ads to get the best performance? And my answer, if you're an early stage 7-figure brand, is almost always that you should be prioritizing statics. And in this video, I'll be explaining why and the financial link that Creatives has to the P&L and to marketing outcomes so that you can better understand this issue and understand whether you should currently be prioritizing making more statics or making more videos. And so when you ask the question, which is better? Is it a static or is it a video? When you look at all of your clients, what is performing better at the moment? The answer is really, it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is that when we're looking at different creative types, and we can go and we can add another one in here as well. We can add in GIFs. We can also go and add in carousels as well. And if there's more creative types that come out over time, you can just keep adding all of these in. And you can ask the question, well, which one is the best? And that's often the wrong way to approach a creative type. Because a creative type is just a way in which you're presenting a message, and the message is actually what matters. And so if you go and take a static and then a video, and there's two different messages and there's two different angles being presented in those different creatives, and then the video outperforms the static, the answer isn't, oh, videos are better than statics. It's, well, the message that you put in that video was probably better articulated and better captured attention, communicated the product, and then drove action than the static did. And if we could take a static and we could clearly capture attention, communicate the product, and drive action, well, then we would probably see similar performance out of the static. And the same thing goes for a GIF, and the same thing goes for a carousel. And so one creative type isn't better than another. However, if you're an early stage brand, one creative type actually is better than another when you go a little bit of a step deeper here. And so the step deeper that I'm talking about is production. So it's all well and good having these ads and then putting them into the account, but how are we actually creating them? How are we producing them? Well, most statics are produced by having a bunch of either lifestyle images shot or a bunch of product images shot. And then we're taking those product images and we're taking those lifestyle images and we're moving them around with a graphic designer, putting text overlays, putting headlines, and making it an engaging ad. Very low cost to do that once we've actually shot the raw images. Okay, to actually create a static by putting headlines and moving things around and making it engaging. And that's obviously simplifying down the process, but it doesn't cost a lot to do that. You could make, realistically, you could make 4 to 5 statics in about 1 to 2 hours with a really high quality graphic designer. Now with a video, you have to shoot the video, which generally right away, just the shooting costs are going to be considerably higher. But then you have the production costs, the editing costs of actually putting that together. And so if you go and also brief 5 to 10 videos to a video editor, it's going to take a lot more time and cost a lot more to actually have a finished product here. And so what ends up happening is the cost of a static might on average come out at $10 to $15, whereas the cost of a video might come out at $40. Now this is obviously going to depend on the length of the video and the extent of the feedback and the iteration process here and the extent of the production costs in the first place. But as a general statement, we could assume that videos are going to be 4x more expensive than statics. And so what that ends up meaning is that we have to be sure that the expected value of a video is at least 4 times higher than that of a static. And the reality is, as I just explained at the start of the video, that this simply being in video format doesn't make it perform better. It is the message and the ability for that asset to capture attention, communicate the product, and drive action that makes it a high-performing creative. It's not the fact that it is just a video and therefore it will perform better. And so you can have similar performance out of a static as you will with a video, but you'll be doing it at 4x less the cost, which means you'll get 4x more testing, which means that you're likely going to have a better expected gross profit or contribution profit out of introducing 10 statics into an account than 10 videos. Now, this isn't to say that you should just only do statics forever and that should be the entire brand's focus, because there is a really strong argument for creative diversity within an account. and the fact that a lot of consumers will be more likely to purchase if they see a static and a video at different points in their consumer journey. There also is a really good point that some people just simply do not purchase from statics, but purchase from videos. And so you're missing out on a large demographic of users who would normally convert through video format, but will not convert through static. And you're not actually going to reach them because other advertisers are going to take priority on bidding on that individual placement because they're serving with a video, and Facebook knows that individual user should only see videos. And so you do want creative diversity in the account. You do want statics, you do want GIFs, you do want videos, you do want carousels. But if you are constrained by capital, you're an early stage 7-figure brand, you're maybe even a 6-figure brand, you really need to be looking at the fact of how much is it going to produce to make 100 videos? How much is it going to cost to make 100 statics? Okay, maybe if we're going to allocate our capital efficiently, we're going to go and make 90 statics and we're going to make 10 videos. We believe that majority of the performance is going to come out of these statics. The only reason why we are doing the videos is to maximize reach against those users that wouldn't be targeted by statics and to add some increased diversity into the account. But we would not be introducing these 10 to maximize performance and profitability because we know that statics are 4x cheaper with a similar expected value. And therefore, if we really wanted to just maximize profitability, we would go and put 100 statics into production. And so that is why, as an early stage 7-figure brand, you really need to be thinking about the production cost of these ads and how that's tying into expected value. Have a look at how much does it actually cost you to make a video, because I'm out here saying it's 4x the cost, but I know some brands and some businesses that we work with where videos are incredibly cheap for them to make because the founder is a video editor and they also shoot video. And so they just go out and make 8 to 9 videos a day for the first few hours of their day. And so they just have an infinite amount of video content, which means we can introduce it into the account very cheap in terms of how much that costs on the P&L. And so we can see really good returns out of video-based content where we could argue that for their particular product, video might be more conducive to better enabling the communication of the product and potentially grabbing attention as well. Whereas with a more complicated value proposition and a more complicated product, it can be a little bit more difficult to clearly articulate the value propositions of the product within a static. Now, that is solved by having a large volume of statics within the account, because Facebook will very rarely serve the same ad more than twice to an individual user. And so if you have a large multitude of ads that are all demonstrating different value propositions and communicating the value of the product in different ways, then you can often get multiple touch points across multiple ads that's going to bring that customer to the final purchase point. And so you don't have to be thinking about the static in itself has to grab the attention, communicate the product, and drive action all in that one ad, because it's very unlikely that people are even going to buy off just an interaction with one specific creative with you. And so you can be breaking this down and thinking about how do we communicate this across multiple statics, and then just ensure that users are getting placed all of those statics at once. And so just to summarize, if you're an early stage 7-figure brand, we will always prioritize statics because of the production cost and how that ties into expected value.